Tales from the World's Firesides. I'm Clive Gilson, the story guy, and today I'm telling a traditional Ojibwe tale called Manabozho in the Fish's Stomach from a book called Folklore and Legends, the North American Indian, originally published by W. Gibbings in London in 1890, although the original collector of the story remains anonymous. Anyway, let's get on with the story. Manabozho in the Fish's Stomach. One day, Manabozho said to his grandmother, "Noko, get cedar bark and make me a line whilst I make a canoe." When all was ready, he went out to the middle of the lake fishing. "Kingfish," he said, letting down his line, "take hold of my bait." He kept repeating these words for some time, and at last the kingfish said, "Oh, what a trouble Manabozho is! Here, trout, take hold of his line." The trout did as he was bid, and Manabozho drew up his line, the trout's weight being so great that the canoe was nearly overturned. Until he saw the trout, Manabozho kept crying out, "Wahihe, wahihe." As soon as he saw the trout, though, he said, "Why did you take hold of my hook? Isa, Isa, shame, shame, you are an ugly fish." The trout, being so rebuked, let go. Manabozho let down his line again into the water, saying, "Kingfish, take hold of my line." "What a trouble Manabozho is," cried the kingfish. "Here, sunfish, take hold of his line." The sunfish did as he was bid, and Manabozho drew him up, crying as he did so, "Wahihe, wahihe," while the canoe turned in swift circles. When he saw the sunfish, Manabozho cried, "Oh, you are an odious fish! Why did you dirty my hook by taking it in your mouth? Let go! I say, let go!" The sunfish did as he was bid, and on his return to the bottom of the lake told the kingfish what Manabozho had said. Just then the bait was let down again near to the king, and Manabozho was heard crying out, "Take hold of my hook! Take hold of my hook!" The kingfish did so, and allowed himself to be dragged to the surface, which he had no sooner reached than he swallowed Manabozho and his canoe at one gulp. When Manabozho came to himself, he found that he was in his canoe in the fish's stomach. He now began to think how he should escape, and looking about him, he saw his war club in his canoe, and with it he immediately struck the heart of the fish. Then he felt as though the fish was moving with great velocity. The kingfish, meanwhile, observed to his friends, "I feel very unwell for having swallowed that nasty fellow Manabozho," and at that moment he received another more severe blow on the heart. Manabozho thought, "Well, if I'm thrown up in the middle of the lake, I shall be drowned, so I must prevent it." So he drew his canoe and placed it across the fish's throat, and just as he had finished doing this, the kingfish tried to cast him out in the middle of the lake. Manabozho now found that he had a companion with him. This was a squirrel that had been in his canoe. The squirrel helped him to place the canoe in the proper position, and Manabozho, being grateful to the little creature, said, "In the future, you shall be called Ajidaneo," that is, animal tail. Then he recommenced his attack on the kingfisher's heart, and by repeated blows he at last succeeded in killing him. He could tell that he had done this because the fish stopped swimming, and he could also hear the body beating against the shore. Now Manabozho waited a full day to see what would happen. Then he heard birds scratching on the body, and all at once rays of sunlight broke in. He could now see the heads of the gulls which were looking in at the opening they had made. "Oh," cried Manabozho, "my younger brothers! Make the opening larger, so that I can get out." The gulls then told one another that Manabozho was inside the fish, and they set to work at once to enlarge the hole. In a short time, they set him free. After he got out, Manabozho said to the gulls, "In the future, you shall be called Kayosh, that is, noble scratchers, for your kindness to me." Okay, that's the story of Manabozho in the fish's stomach. It's a fascinating story, and I think it has some deep cultural and symbolic significance. It belongs to the traditions of the Ojibwe people and other Algonquian-speaking tribes in North America. And the story, I think, serves as a reminder of the close relationship between humanity and nature. And through this story, I think the figure of Manabozho continues to live on, embodying the very spirit of resilience, cleverness, and of the cultural continuity of the people from which it originates. As ever, my main aim is to tell stories that might otherwise be forgotten or lost to modern readers, particularly outside of the originating culture. And these tales, I hope, help us to share those different cultural aspects that we all experience, and maybe we can make the world a little less complex through that. This tale appears in my book Originating, which contains around 75 traditional legends and folk tales from the peoples of the Great Plains. Originating is available in hardback, paperback and ebook formats from all good retail and online bookstores. If you've enjoyed the story, you can find out more about me, Clive Gilson, the story guy, and the Tales from the World's Firesides project at clivegilson.com, and there are also dedicated Facebook and YouTube channels indicated at the bottom of the screen. I would appreciate it if you could hit the like button. It really helps keep us front and centre and keeps these stories in production. And please do follow or subscribe if you want to hear new stories or go back through what is now quite a big archive of stories from the last year or so. That's it for now, though, so thank you very much for staying with me this far. And until next time, keep reading, listening and watching, and stay inspired.